What up? Bienvenido. Welcome, everyone. Musan family. Taking a walk. Want to get up here on YouTube. So then I will probably, definitely publish this on the other social media channels. It's easier like this. Well, you know, just been reflecting a little bit as I walk. Very interesting. Uh, and it's dealing with grief, and it's dealing with compassion and forgiveness. We call that the Abab Azubquabat, the heart energies Quabat center, the Sakum of the Abab, right? Power. And it's interesting because, I usually get up real early in the morning, but then I would sometimes, if I stay in the bed reading or something, I kind of like fall out, a little short nap. But I went into a dream state, and I'm not going to reveal too much about that dream, because when you deal with dreams, you're dealing with your inner feelings that manifests in some way. But I had to deal with grief, the loss of something. You know what I'm saying? And it was interesting because, as I'm experiencing this dream, I am crying. I'm emitting tears. I'm crying. And I'm asking for forgiveness. And it's crazy. Crazy. Because the good thing about it, I'm going to tell you something. The good thing about that is that the emission of it, the expression and the emitting, you're getting rid of that in your system. Because that's part of the shadow self. That's why it's important to do that work in sacred science and other studies. We did a kind of shadow work where we use like the mirror to do some of the shadow works and ask certain questions. That's important in everyday practice. Well, if you want to at least purify yourself, if you want to get rid of certain those inner feelings that are causing traumatic experiences in you, you know what I'm saying? So I noticed that as I was emitting this tears and emitting, and when I woke up, I thought about it for a minute, but then after a while, it became I was revived, relieving. I was revived because now I could think about compassion. When you grieve, and then you think about the compassion, and then you balance yourself. And the key for that is to harness that in your heart. It's the power of forgiveness, forgiving. Forgive yourself and forgive others, and just carry that sense of forgiving in you. You know, um, it's just an importance when it comes to dealing with this particular energy center. You know, so it helped me reveal. It helped me relieve certain things in my life. So I feel like a sense of gratitude. I felt a sense of gratitude. I was like, oh man, I really, I got my crystal here. See that? So I was like, wow, it felt good after a while. And now I'm able to cope with the loss. It could be a loss of a love, it could be a loss of anything, So now I'm able to more cope with that, at a more balanced level. So, welcome so peaceful then. Because again, that forgiveness, when you balance yourself, now you know your heart. And therefore, because of that, grief and stuff like that was causing a writer's block, for me. I couldn't write. I put my composition book to the side. Didn't write a couple of words, and I was wondering why I can't get into that writing like I used to. But after experiencing that through that dreaming state and experiencing that and letting go of certain things, I feel that now I'm ready to pick up the pen and express my soul freely, freely. Because it's the soul that writes, it's the soul that writes. So now that the soul is that energy that writes. And so when you're relieved and you're balanced, your music expressions, or everything that deals with that heart arts, that heart energy center now becomes balanced and freely currency, currency, because it's all about currencies, letting it go. And so woke up gratitude and appreciate that. It's a beautiful day here in Florida, let me tell you. I'm still in Florida. Got a couple of more gigs to do out here. I'm trying to get up to North Carolina, my base over there, and see my grandson, both of my grandsons, my granddaughter over there. But I'm with my granddaughters over here. Beautiful young ladies. And, but it's a beautiful day. I mean, the shade is nice and cool. The sun, of course, is always going to emit that heat, but it's just such a beautiful day. The shade is beautiful. So later on, if I can get out to that park over there, I take the bongos, later on, practice a little. Practice every day. In the middle of the night, I'm grabbing my cajon and I have to. Everything is practice. You gotta love what you do. And you gotta practice. You know what I'm saying? But I want to get out there and be around nature again. Get the healing. Nature heals. I was watching, just for the sake of conversation, I'm walking here. I was watching the podcast of Billy Carson of Forbidden Knowledge, and King Simon was on there, and the sister, I think it's Sakina or something like that, and his mate Elizabeth. They were talking about the Herodocitus. If I'm saying it right, people that can look into your eyes and can heal you, and can see what's ailing you. What trauma you have, and what's going on with your everything, your whole body, and it's through the eyes. And I said that makes a lot of sense, because that's the optic. We receive energy and we store energy in the eyes also. Eyes don't lie, and there's things that are stored. So I said it's important to get out into nature, walk in nature, or run, whatever you do, and receive. You see, I'm receiving a lot of this traffic thing going on right now on the side over here. However, I do have greenery around me. See? I do have greenery around me. I have a road on this side, but I have greenery around me here. So my eyes are more concentrated on that green source. You know what I'm saying? That green frequencies and stuff. They see this place here. I helped build a lot of stuff in this place when I did construction, and I love it. I'm trying to get in touch with the owner of that. I want to, so close to home, I want to do some work over here on this side of town. When I'm in this side of town, I want to reach out to him. But anyway, it's so important to get out again, and I do have, there's a road, but there's still green, there's trees, hearing, that frequency I hear, that part of the eyes, the hearing, those senses, you know what I'm saying? And then feeling. Don't forget about that submerged consciousness. You're feeling in your habit of what are you doing in terms of what habits are you forming. I like to walk. That's a habitual thing. I like to walk. And how do I feel when I walk? I have to pay attention to that. Not only what you see around you, but how you feeling. Are you in a safe environment? Are you feeling, energized? Are you feeling the power and the affinity for natural nature, the skies and trees? How are you feeling? And then how how is those feelings creating this habit? So I created this habit of walking certain time. And I walk to the store, I pick up a couple of things in Sprout. I like Sprout, it's right up the block here. And I like to go in Sprout, pick up my seeds and organic stuff. You know. Wepa. Yes. So, I don't know how when you came in, Hansu, but yeah, I'm speaking about, this dream that I had, this dream state. I was up, then I kind of like fell asleep while reading. And also what I was reading or listening to a podcast. And I was listening more to a podcast. I read a little, then I listened to the podcast. But so I had that dream state about grief. I was grieving. I was crying, and my personal situation, so I was crying and forgiveness and like compassion. And then as I woke up, I balanced myself. I was like, breathe. And that's another thing. Breathe. How you breathing? Very important. Here, all those senses. Sense of smell, breathe, everything happens here. But anyway, I started to be relieved. Felt this peace that came over me. Balancement, peace, and the forgiveness. The forgiveness is what balances your compassion with your grief. And that's that heart energy center. You know what I'm saying? So it's important for me because in that center, it deals with music and art. You know what I'm saying? You sing, I know you sing, and so like that, it deals with that. So that became very, very important for me. You know what I'm saying? Now, very, very important. And my playing gets better, my practice playing. Again, so the habits that you form, the habits, those feelings that turns into habitual, habitual feeling, the habits, and you postulate that, you create that, So it's not only what you activate, how you see around you, breathing, but how you feeling around your environment, and then how are you making that into and have habitual act, because it's constant, So one thing is, as I walk, breathe, that could be it. As I walk, I think of this nature. I think of green, the trees. I think, I've been doing it's been a little habitual now that sometimes when I walk, I take out my phone and I start doing, I start speaking, that's the fourth industrial revolution. I do that also. Only when I want to relate a message, and a lot of times, as I relate this message, this is documented. This is the documentary for me, because then what I do is I listen to it later and I see what comes through me. How I'm feeling, habits, how can I perfect myself better? Anyway, listen. I'm about to end this stream current and continue on. Like I said, I feel great. The brother's doing great. The forgiveness is in my heart. The heart, I'm balanced. Get back into writing. When I get back to the bay, get into my writing and practicing. And man, like I said, go out to the park. It's so beautiful out here. Orlando, Florida, let me tell you, it's creepy because we did get those moments in the temperature. Just real quick, I just want to say this. We did get those moments in the temperature where it drops down to 40s and 50s, and then during the day, at night, and during the day, it goes up to 80. So it's a up and down. That's kind of dangerous, but if you're used to it, it's all right, but it is a little dangerous. Look, I'm walking and all this stuff is starting to come up. Blah, blah. That's important, walking. Important to walk so you can get all this stuff around you. Get your feet have all your arteries, veins, everything goes to your feet and your hand. So this is nice too when you walk. Pay attention to how you walk. Heel toe. Pay attention to that. Pay attention how all of that is pulsating right now into all your organs. You know what I'm saying? And again, your feelings. What are you doing? Your feelings is very important, and how these feelings are creating certain habitual activities and habits. You got a habit of always thinking like that or doing this and doing that. Self-sabotaging yourself. I've gotten to, I analyze myself sometimes. I say, man, ain't nobody out there doing nothing. I'm doing it to myself because self-sabotaging. But I've learned how to deal with that now. I've learned how to harness those inner qualities, because it all begins with you and it ends with you. It's your mind, brain concentration. There is no outside. The outside spiritual would mean spirit. When they spur a rite, a ritual, those outside rituals cannot affect a strong person who has within themselves and are doing stuff ritually with their hands. Because only rituals could be done by hand movements, right? With hands. And no one can stop that. No one can stop you at all. Unless they purposely get out there and do something, to hurt you or harm you and anything. But there is no power. The power is within you. It's within you. No one can do no mumbo jumbo out there and affect you in any way. In any way. If you're very strong-minded and you have a strong, again, spiritual ritual, you're spurring strong rituals, and sometimes something simple as if you feel and think positive. If you do positive, you do certain things out here to strengthen your character very strongly, and nobody out there can do some mumbo jumbo and interrupt that. That doesn't exist. Forget it. It doesn't exist. They tried it. Europeans tried it. Africa, but look, out of that, what comes out? Something beautiful. Something beautiful. We're alchemists. Put me in the jungle, put me in the dungeon, and as I come out of that dungeon, I'm going to come out with a jewel. Check that out. A jewel. I'm going to come out. Jewel, renew life. Put me in the cave. You know what I'm saying? And what's going to come out of that cave? Something beautiful. Something exponential. Something powerful. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, ain't nothing out there that can harm you. That you don't want to let in. So I walk around, that's one of the feelings and habits that I go through, and I say, you know what? There's nothing out here that can really harm me unless I allow it to harm me, because I put myself in that state. You see, I lower my frequencies down, and then in my root, where it goes to survival and fear, I allow the fear part to overrun my survival and my security. You know what I'm saying? Simple as that. So it's how, again, pay attention to how you're feeling more than anything. If you're taking a walk, not just what's around you, or make sure you're around trees, whatever, but then how are you feeling and what habits are you creating that are beneficial for you? What are the habitual activities that are, because that's the submerge, your subconscious, the submerged consciousness. That's awakened. That's right here in the solar plexus. You know what I'm saying? That's where your feelings and your habits are coming out. So that has to be balanced with how you're thinking up here, which are ideas and concepts. So, that's a good key, is when you walk, how I'm feeling, what am I doing habitually that's in matching or that's in balance with my ideas and concept. I want to do this, I want to do that. Okay, that's the ideas and concept. What habits daily, what habits are you forming? Feelings and habits are you forming to complement that? Complement it. What feeling? People forget about how feeling have the thing. Oh, I got the idea. Yeah, but do you have the practicality, the feeling, the practice to what? To harness that idea and concept so that you can manifest it. That's part of manifesting. Part of manifesting. Anyway, with all that being said, I Tawu, thanks. Tawat, thanks to all. Okay, and all the blessings, and we'll speak with you maybe later on today. Ciao.